All right, let's talk weather here. We're officially to the midway point in the week, the first full week in June. And what we're looking at is rain chances on the rise. Scattered storms Friday and Saturday, mainly in the evening, especially across the northern half of the state. And some of those could be on the stronger side. We'll talk about what to expect. And Sunday, statewide, could be a soaker. So we thought we were done with the rain as May left. Not so fast. It's about 5:30 here. Scattered thunderstorms down in the Wiregrass, Dothan over to Andalusia, Geneva County, Covington County, Houston County, and even stretching down into Holmes County, Walton County, and Florida. These stretch back to Moultrie, Georgia, near that I-75 corridor. Again, nothing really significant to note. We are much more stable here in the northern half of the state, which is why you're not seeing those lightning strikes. In fact, a lot of these are fizzling out. These are kind of ripples in the atmosphere. We have a very stable air mass aloft. So these are shallow showers in the atmosphere. They don't have a lot of vertical growth, and that's why we don't have much in the way of lightning strikes here. But nevertheless, downpour, rainbow possible this evening. A few isolated storms now moving towards the Jasper area. We had a downpour in Tuscaloosa. But again, as we head through the evening hours, just a passing shower. If you're down near Lake Martin, if you're in Chambers County, if you're in Randolph County, Lee County, Tuskegee, better rain chances, better thunderstorm chances down there. Nothing we can't handle here, just some rain moving on through. And there's the culprit. We have a low pressure that's spinning, broad low, right over the Florida Peninsula, and that's swinging in some Atlantic moisture and giving us these showers. But this isn't the weather story. The weather story, well, it's going to come over the weekend. So let's talk about our highs Thursday. I think these are going to be a little bit lower than this model suggesting. I'm thinking more mid-80s in northern Alabama because I think we're going to have more cloud cover around. I don't think our rain chances are very high north of I-20 and really north of I-85 and US 80. It's just rain coverage is not going to be that impressive. We zoom out, I think our better rain chances are going to end up being to the south, Montgomery, Wiregrass, and along the coastline tomorrow afternoon. But again, passing showers, a thunderstorm or two is certainly possible. All right, this is the SPC outlook for Friday. You can see that slight risk area drawn to include basically the northern third of Alabama, essentially north of I-20, up I-22 and 278 all the way up through the Shoals and into Tennessee. And this will be for gusty winds, very common for this time of year. You get these storms that pulse up. And every now and then they bottom out right over you. Here's a closer look at that. And again, our impacts, damaging winds. The best analogy I have is you ever blown up a balloon, right? Or even a water balloon. When it gets too full and you let the water out or the air out, as it all comes out, all the mass comes down at once. Cloud gets really, really full. Updrafts can no longer support the weight of the cloud and it becomes downdraft dominated, meaning the winds out of the base of the cloud are stronger than what's going vertically, and so you get this all at once straight line wind, very heavy rain, then it's done. And that would essentially be what we could potentially have over the weekend. Again, that's called a wet microburst, and it's possible really with any summertime thunderstorm, but that's what we'll be watching for. This is Saturday. We basically have the same threat, just drawn a little bit further south to include the Montgomery area. Wiregrass, you pretty much stay omitted from the severe threats over the weekend. There's a closer look, and basically if you're north of Pike County, Crenshaw County, that is your threat. So the entire northern two-thirds of the state will have the chance for a few strong thunderstorms. All right, let's go to some modeling here. I mentioned Thursday, rain coverage will be to the south, not a very big impact day. So I just want to jump right into Friday. So this is our in-house model. This is the Barron 3 kilometer. Now, this continues to be aggressive with our coverage early in the afternoon on Friday. Could this happen? Sure. I think the more impactful thunderstorms, any that are going to be on the stronger side, are not going to happen till later. So hit and miss showers during the day. What I think we'll be looking for is this feature here. You kind of can pick it out. I'm going to draw right here. So see how this is kind of like a cluster? This will have a little bit more momentum, a little bit more of a punch, and if these make it through, the northern part of Alabama, these could be the ones, to watch for, again, more organized, heavy rain, some wind gusts, again, not too out of the ordinary for this time of year. We'll have the potential for rain all across the state, just think the better chance for strong storms will be in the northern third of Alabama. A lot of these begin to fizzle out overnight, moving into Georgia, and then kind of die out with the loss of daytime heating. So what's next? Now we got to go into the weekend, and there's still diverging thoughts on this. So we're going to walk through both scenarios here. Let's grab the more aggressive model first. This is the European model. We're going to start both of these at 5 o'clock in the morning. Not that everybody's waking up at 5 on a Saturday, but we're going to start it there. So we got a frontal boundary that's draped across the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley. It's just not making headway, and that's pretty common this time of year. Subtropical air mass, it doesn't allow for fronts to get very far south. So it's still going to act as a jumping off point for convection. This is late morning, and this particular model, European, is showing perhaps some showers, maybe some thunderstorms on the western side of the state. So this is much earlier than the timeline of some of the other models. So if this were to come to fruition, I do not think we'd have strong storms in this scenario. A couple reasons. Number one, we're going to have cloud cover in the morning, so we won't be able to destabilize. Number two, this rain comes through, and there's a good bet that it neutralizes instability. So that's one potential solution here. Rain coverage, again, I think either way you slice it is going to be highest in the afternoon. It'll just depend, do we have that early convection? Do we have those early showers? Or do we stay dry the first half of the day and trend wetter into the evening? Something we'll watch closely. All right, let's go now to Sunday. Sunday, I think, will be the wettest day of the forecast period here. And because we have this rain early in the day, there's no severe threat. I think the concern would be saturated ground, a lot of rain recently, a possible flood threat. Not a widespread one, but you live in those areas that have those flood-prone locations. That would be what we watch for on Sunday. So again, not a total washout through the weekend, but Sunday certainly looks like from start to finish we got a soaker here. We go to the drier solution here. This is the GFS, starting at the same time, 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'll move this forward and notice through the morning we're dry. And then we start to see more of the convection. Now, these are lighter colors here, so this isn't your more organized thunderstorm activity. That would be this that you see much later in the day. So this, again, will be something that we got to watch as it unfolds. Do we have that early batch of rain? Does that stabilize the atmosphere? Because it is really tough for the atmosphere to rebound once we've had rain early in the day. So if you have outdoor plans this week, you can keep a close eye on the forecast. On the trends of timing as we go into Sunday. This model, again, GFS kind of sides with the Euro. Good coverage of rain there. I don't think we'll have anything severe on Sunday. So let's go to our temperatures here. And again, we'll look to have temperatures probably below average the next couple of days. If we have enough sunshine, breaks in the cloud cover, we might get into the mid-upper 80s here in a few locations. All this will be, dependent on the timing and location of the rain. So if we get a shower early, we may not hit that upper 80s mark. So it'll be warm and muggy though, that's for sure. Tropical air mass in place, and you'll feel it. Temperatures on Sunday, again, probably even cooler. I'm thinking low to mid 80s for much of northern Alabama. And this is really the thing we're going to watch, I think, when all's said and done, because our rain setup, our pattern stays a bit unsettled into next week. So this is 7-day totals, and you really can't quantify 7-day rain totals with convection. You just can't, because there's no way to know exactly where those storms are going to pop up. But we know we have the chance of rain basically each and every day somewhere in the state over the next week, and that will yield anywhere from just under 2 inches all the way up to 3, and this number could change. So we'll be watching this closely. Hopefully this is not a return of the wet pattern that we had in May, but it's certainly starting out that way. So that is your, Wednesday evening forecast discussion. Hope you all have had a wonderful day. We'll have another update tomorrow. Have a great evening.